Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. I returned to social media on Monday to find that two black women were circulating a hit list of black male YouTubers on social media, making a campaign to get these black men's channels flagged and deleted. And I look at that behavior, and it is no different than the fascists who ran Nazi Germany or the current North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Whenever they were presented with people who presented dissenting opinions, Adolf Hitler went out and had people executed. And Kim Jong-un right now currently has people executed. Unfortunately, we live in the United States of America, and these black women do not have a legal right to do this. And what black men need to do, instead of making videos going back and forth with these females, is to develop a course of legal action. Because our issue, we have to take it to the courts. And we have to file a class action lawsuit against Google and YouTube, because this type of campaign violates our constitutional rights as American citizens. Now, we were guaranteed the rights under the First Amendment for freedom of speech and freedom of expression by the First Amendment, and black men were entitled to these rights and guaranteed these rights by the 13th and 14th Amendments passed in the 19th century. Moreover, these rights were reinforced by the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So there is a legal precedent for protecting the rights of African American men to express their opinions and their views on social media. Unfortunately, many black men are too scared to take legal action to protect their rights guaranteed to them by the United States Constitution, because those constitutional rights are guaranteed to all American citizens. Black women are not a protected class under the United States Constitution. A lot of black men think this, but this is not the case at all. Everyone has to follow the rights and the laws of this United States government, and nobody is above the law. If this was the case, then the legal precedent would be set in America, saying that this African American woman's legal rights are above other people's rights. And that's not how it works in America. Everybody has the right to free speech. Everyone has the right to freedom of expression. And because you hear dissenting views does not give you a right to try to take the forum away from others. That, in and of itself, is what fascists do. That is what Adolf Hitler did, that is what Kim Jong-un does, and that is what many other fascists in governments that are dictatorships, like the former Iraq and other countries, try to do. But that's what makes America different, is that Americans can fight back, and they can take legal action to defend themselves. And I urge every black man out here, instead of arguing with these women, to start taking legal action towards working towards developing a class action lawsuit against Google and YouTube for violating their constitutional rights of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, because there's clearly a standard being set, by the behavior of these African American women by establishing this so-called hit list. I noticed that on their hit list, they're only attacking and putting down the names of black men they have a disagreement with. They're not putting down the names of people such as Ku Klux Klansmen, neo-Nazis, and skinheads in their campaign to so-called eradicate hate speech. Now, these are groups that pretty much use hate speech on the regular on social media, and these groups these black women will not even think of engaging or confronting. Why? Because they know that these white men in these groups will pretty much go out of their way to file a lawsuit with Google and YouTube to say that their constitutional rights are being violated, their rights to free speech are being violated, and they have a right to use this open platform, because YouTube, a subsidiary of Google, says you can broadcast yourself. And if you say you can broadcast yourself, then you have a constitutional right to express your views freely on this social media platform without being harassed or threatened by other people. I mean, there are 8 million or 9 million channels here on social media alone, and if you on this YouTube alone, and you can pretty much, if you see opinions you do not like, you can pretty much click out of that channel or unsubscribe it and move on. That's pretty much your right as an American citizen. You were given the option to pretty much choose whatever channel you wanted to watch and what content you wanted to watch. And who are these black women to sit there and say they're going to dictate what type of content goes on an open platform? Again, this is a form of fascism, and it needs to be stamped out immediately, not just by black men in the YouTube, but by YouTube senior managers and executives. Because if you promote censorship among that censors black men, there is no telling what these women will do once they decide they want to expand outside of their radius. Once they censor black men on social media, they're clearly going to start going outside and saying, I don't like the opinions of other dissenting black women. Then they're going to start going out and saying they don't like the opinions of other alternative people. And then they're going to start going outside and saying they don't like the opinions of white people and other people of other races. And this is why it's a slippery slope when you see people developing things like hit lists, because they pretty much are the type of people who will tear at the fabric of the democracy of the United States of America. These are people who have an elitist view of things and a narcissistic view of things, and they want the world to pretty much revolve around them. They want to be the center of attention, and they want to control social media so that everyone is paying attention to them and their drama and not giving everyone else equal opportunity to use the platform that was designed for everyone to broadcast themselves. Again, this is censorship, plain and simple, and censorship is not legal under the United States Constitution, under the First Amendment for all American citizens, which guarantees everyone the right to freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and under the 13th and the 14th Amendments for African Americans, because we pretty much got those rights after the Civil War, and moreover, we got those rights reinforced by the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And it's really sad that we have two African American women going out of their way to try to censor these rights after many people have fought and died for black people to get the right to have a platform to freely express themselves. Again, this pretty much is a slap in the face to many of our forefathers and grandfathers who went out here and fought and died and marched and protested the government of the United States to get these free rights, to have the free ability to freely express ourselves, and then they're going to go off on this campaign to establish this hit list to eliminate people on a social media platform who present dissenting views. And again, that is a betrayal, that is treason when you really think about it, of our government and its laws, and it really is a slap in the face again to our ancestors who fought and died for those rights to live, to have the ability to freely express themselves in these United States. When we have people like this doing these types of things, again, any responsible corporation is going to take constructive action to deal with these type of individuals, because that pretty much is a bad look for their organization. It says that they pretty much promote fascism, they pretty much promote censorship, and it's hypocritical for Google, the owner of YouTube, to say that people can broadcast themselves, and then when people start presenting dissenting opinions, they allow a handful of individuals who are upset about those views to then try to control the platform and censor everyone else. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.